Many of us have been disappointed with the prolific spending by the present administration in Washington, D.C. And I was appalled yesterday to hear the president say, well, this really isn't a short-term problem, it's a far-term problem. And so he seems to be very happy to continue on with this terrible deficit which we're piling onto our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Do you support that?
Do I support the idea that we're piling debt onto our children and grandchildren? It's a fact. We are doing that.
Well, we are doing that.
Should we be doing that? Of course
not. Should we be doing it?
Of course not.
And maybe what we should say is, what will you do to attempt to stop that?
First, I appreciate the question, and I think that anybody, whether he is an economist or not, should understand that debt, family debt, national debt, individual debt, these are not good things if they are long-term and if they are ever increasing. One of the problems with debt is that it's not just the cost of the resources that we no longer have available to us, it's the cost of paying for the resources, the interest on the debt. And you reach a certain tipping point with debt where it becomes impossible. It doesn't matter anymore how much you cut, how much you sacrifice, how much more revenue you bring in. We can genuinely reach a point where it will be impossible unless we do something drastic, as some countries have done. I'm sure you'll remember in history there have been countries that revalued their currency. You know, devaluation, no one's talked about that luckily yet, but if you want to see a market crash, suggest devaluation. But those are the kinds of risks that wait for us out there. I believe that we have two solutions to the problem of our national debt. The first is that we need to know, in fact, how much money we're spending. How many of you know how much money the government spends today? I don't. I don't think anybody does. The government, a lot of agencies, including the Defense Department, haven't been audited in decades. We really don't know how much money is being spent, how much money is being wasted. And the other problem is we make decisions. I say we because we're all responsible. Our representatives in Congress make decisions about how we should spend money based on the status quo. Why don't we take another look and see if, in fact, we need all of these programs that we've been spending? And why is it that California is a net exporter of federal dollars? We send about $1.65 to Washington. We get back about 85 cents on the dollar. Bill Thomas, the previous congressman, brought back about $1.05 for every dollar we send. We are losing money on our money. I think we need to look at, I'm sorry, I'm a journalist and facts are important to me. We need to know what the facts are. And then we need to figure out what we really need to spend and how we can pay for those things. But to talk about these things in the abstract, as I know politicians do, they love to say, I'm going to cut taxes. Well, fine, but what does that mean? We need to know what the facts are before we start deciding whether to cut or raise, God forbid, taxes.
Thank you, Tim.